Hi, chat. Hi. I. Oop. My head's a bit of a mess. How are we all? Right. There we go. Let me turn off the fan. It looked like I was like I was in a hurricane, guys. It's like, no. Hi, everyone. I was going to use my phone, but then it decided, I'm not going to work today. So that's like really mean of it. I'm, I'm there to work. I don't know what. Thanks. That's so nice of you. Hi, I am well. How are you? Oh, you just said how you are. I'm glad you are well. Or did it read? Oh, it did go. I did tweet it. Wow. I'm. I haven't done this in a long time. No, I know you didn't. You just sounded funny. Did this work? Ooh. Yeah, there we go. That's good. How are we all? I hope we're all well. So much has gone on today. The emergency alert went out. I didn't get sound. I only got a notification. And I don't know if that's bad. Objection, it might be bad. It might be a bad thing. I really need to got two. That's just that's just like biblical greed. That's that's greed they talked about in the Bible. Yeah, we got ours 5 minutes late too. Did everything? Yeah, everything went through fine. That's good. Sorry, I'm a bit discombobulated. I haven't done this in a while. Oh my god, wait. It's this way, isn't it? Let's see, do I remember? I did. It's 4 followers away from 500, from 100. Also, I got a new webcam. It's up here. My previous one was down there. Uh, I also got the thing that lets me use my phone as a webcam. But as I said, that decided not to work today, and I'm extremely sad about that. Oh, it's a sub emote. I was like, wait, I didn't have that emote. I look. That's why I look a bit discombobulated because I spent the past like 40 minutes trying to get my phone to work, and then it didn't. Then it didn't. Guys, do you want to hear a new project I'm working on? A new project that I think is going to be cinema, if I'm honest. It will be absolute cinema. Okay, so there's a musical called Cabaret. In there, there's a song called Cabaret, which is a good song. It's quite an emotional song. It will use acting, it has a lot of vocal range over it. And I was thinking, because I keep forgetting to voice train, like to make myself sound more feminine, and I keep forgetting to do that because I am forgetful as hell. I was gonna sing the song every month for as long as it takes to voice train, and then it's like a transition timeline for my voice. So it's like you can hear my voice progress over time. So it's like I know, like this could be cinema. It could be cinema depending on editing. It's like, yes, everyone likes my idea. I haven't told anyone this other than Neha. Neha is like the only person in the world who knows my idea. I think. I've got loads of cables trailing and I'm worried I'm gonna like pull something out. Guys, have we got any follows? Can I get to 100 followers? Wait, what did I title this stream actually? Oh, I titled it Jonathan. I titled it Jonathan stream. Oops. Oops. Can we hit 100 followers? Please. Guys, I haven't done this in a while. It's my first live. It's my first live. Guys, it's her first live. I have also unlocked 2K streaming, which means now you can see what I look like in more like no HD photos, guys. Guys, it's one of my boundaries, no HD photos. Kidding. That's just a joke. That's just a joke. But yeah, I unlocked 2K streaming, which means pre-roll ads are disabled for 32 minutes. That's amazing. Guys, I hate pre-rolls, guys, can you tell? I really hate pre-rolls. I wish I could turn off pre-rolls. It feels really weird because I'm so used to looking over here, which is where my other webcam is. But now I have to look here. And then if I get my phone set up, then I'll have to look, I don't know, up at the ceiling maybe. It's like, hi guys, this is another Hiccup a Lot stream. 3 minutes an hour to get rid of it is worth it. Yeah, true. I do 1 hour 30 per half hour. Guys, Loki, how are we? Oh, it's been so long. It's been a while. It's been a good few months. Did I say 90 minutes? I meant, oh wait. I meant I do a minute 30 every 30 minutes. I do a minute 30 every 30 minutes. So it'd be 2 minutes 60 an hour. Because that will disable my pre-rolls. Because, I don't know. I just hate pre-rolls so much. I wish I could get rid of pre-rolls. I get rid of advertisement in general. I get no money from it. You think she's getting paid? You think she is getting paid? Oh wait, it's like seeing things out the corner of my eye again is really distracting. Does the microphone sound okay, by the way? Yeah, I know. I would turn it off. I get no money. Yay! I say I get no money. It's like I get like a double P. I get some pennies. I was gonna do like I was gonna go. I get $1, but I don't even get a $1. Oh wait, I got a notification. Oh my god, thank you, Bluey, for reposting my post. I know, every penny does count, but like, I think I would probably earn more money if I turned it off. But you know, I'm not Twitch. I feel so weird. I need to get back into the rhythm of streaming. I need to get that streaming cadence. Ooh, I got about a billion million notifications. I'm getting distracted, sorry. Oh wait, I haven't got stream music on. Oh my god, guys, I'm slacking. Um, um. Um, um, no. Right, give me a minute. Give me a couple minutes. Well, not a minute. Give me a couple seconds. Stream. Waiting. There we go. Does the music sound okay? Yes. ooh, I need to, like, I feel like I'm being, like, tangled up in wires. Guys, there's about 100 wires underneath me. Help. Help, I'm being, like, it's like, guys, I'm in prison. I went to prison for being too silly. Nah, just kidding, guys. It's like, Hiccup would never be sent to prison for being too silly. Serial too. Free Hiccup. Free me. Help me! Help me! Loki, I need a mic stand again. Does this sound okay? Like, does it sound fine or is it really weird? Yay, I'm free! I'm free! I'm like a bird flying through the sky. They call me the silliest person ever. Oh my god, my bitrate graph is a bit weird. It goes like This is my news. Hiccup news with me, Hiccup a lot. I don't know, it's like slightly gay newscaster. Like, hi guys, welcome back to the news. Like, what's going on? Nah, just kidding. Just kidding. Like, they call me the newscaster the way I read these stories. The rhythm and cadence of my voice. Everything is moving.
Your turn.
Wait, what were they playing the other day? Loki, we could play that game. That game that Max was playing. The stream game. Give me a sec. What was it? Stream. Oh, there we go. Wait, let me pause it. I can't hear myself think. The game where he guesses how many viewers the streamer has. Imagine I see myself on there, that'd be funny. I don't know if anyone wants to play that. I have it up just in case anyone wants to play that, because why not? Yeah, right. How do I do this? La la la. La la. La la. Oh, wrong camera. Is this the right one? No. Yes, it should be the right camera. Where am I? I know it is. Wait. Let's just try and fix. Whoa, why is everything broken today? Sorry guys, I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. Window capture, Firefox. There we go, that works. Now, why isn't my camera working? Wrong one. This should work, but maybe if I just add a new camera, go hard. I'll spoil everyone by giving you a new camera. How do I do this? Video capture device. Okay, wait. No, wait, I got this. I got this. I don't know how I got this, guys. Okay, guys, it's not gonna work, I think. It is difficult, guys. I'm not just stupid. It is difficult. Let's move it back to Chatterino and then get that place down. There we go. Actually, I decided that maybe we shouldn't risk that. And we should just go back to music. There we go. I fixed it. I fixed it. Wait, I need to close that and close. I got too many windows open. Oh wait, my poster's gone. So I had to move out of uni for a bit, so my poster is gone. I haven't put it back up yet. I can't do my thing up. Look, different country. My entire layout looks different. Maybe I'll fix it tomorrow if I stream. Oh, I just got a notification. Imagine that's the emergency alert. That'd be really bad. Oh my god. Can we hit 100 followers, guys? Guys, for a 100 follower goal, I will say thank you for 100 followers. Such a good goal, isn't it, guys? Aren't I, like, the best at this? My goal is to say thank you. Imagine I get a copyright claim, that'd be really embarrassing. We could play music! I could do cabaret on stream! Wait, I can do sing along. Oh, everything got. Oh, there we go. Oh, what good is sitting alone in your room? Come hear the music play. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. Put down the knitting, the book and the broom. Time for a holiday. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. Come taste the wine, come hear the band. Come blow your horn, start celebrating. Raise where your table's waiting. Let me just pause this to fix this mic and make it sound so much better. If I change it to this mic, it should sound much better. Does it sound better? I can't tell. Because obviously if I hold the... Sorry, I don't know why I went so musical for it. There we go, because now if I hold the note, it won't cut out. Because before I went like... La. It would cut out, you see. There we go, I got water. Oh, now where was I? Back to singing. I'm like a soundboard. No use permitting some prophet of doom to wither his away. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. I used to have a girlfriend known as Elsie, with whom I shared 4 sordid rooms in Chelsea. She wasn't what you call a blushing flower. As a matter of fact, she rented by the hour. The day she died, the neighbours came to snicker. Well, that's what comes from too much pills and liquor. But when I saw her laid out like a queen, she was the happiest corpse I'd ever seen. I think of Elsie to this very day. I remember how she turned to me and said, what good is sitting alone in your room? One hear the music play. Life is a cabaret, chum. Come to the cabaret. Put down the knitting, the book and the broom. Time for a holiday. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. And as for me, I made my mind up back in Chelsea. When I go, I'm going like Elsie. Start by admitting from cradle to tomb. Isn't that long a stay? Life is a cabaret, old chum. Only a cabaret, old chum. And I love a cabaret. There we go. That was Cabaret, everyone. That is a song I'm going to sing every month till I learn to voice train. Every month, I will record that song, post it into the ether, and then voice train, post it, voice train, post it, and eventually, I will sound magnifique. Sorry. Oops. Wait, there's other cabaret karaoke's we could do. Magnifique. There's this one, wait. This is Maybe This Time from Cabaret. Maybe this time I'll be lucky. Maybe this time he'll stay. Maybe this time, for the first time, love won't hurry away. He will hold me fast. I'll be home at last. Not a loser anymore, like the last time and the time before. And everybody loves a winner, so nobody loved me. Lady peaceful, lady happy, that's what I long to be. All the odds are in my favor, something's bound to begin. It's gonna happen sometime. Maybe this time I'll win. Everybody loves a winner, so nobody loved me. Lady peaceful, lady happy, that's what I long to be. All the odds are in my favor, something's bound to begin. It's gonna happen sometimes. Maybe this time I'll win. Oops. That was a bit deep. I went like, it was like, call me Frank Sinatra. It's gotta happen. Maybe this dream Hiccup is gonna have 100 subs. Like that. You know, peak. Just 4 more, guys. Just more. Just 4 more. Wait. Shall I do my way? Shall I, for the clip, shall I do my way? Exactly. Wait, if I make sure I've planned. There we go. If we hold it like here, it shouldn't peak. Exactly. Guys, stay hydrated. It's fun. No. Oh, that's the actual one. Wait. My Way by Frank Sinatra Karaoke. This is from Sing, I guess. And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear and state my case. of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this. I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this. I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, where I bit off more than I could chew to say it all. When there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. And it's more, and I stood tall and did it my way. Oh God. I'm gonna like destroy my mic doing that. No. I've loved and cried. I've had my fill of losing. And now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way, I'm confused. Oh no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things he has truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way. That was so bad. I should post it, low-key. But then will I get transvestigate? Will people be like, this person sang deeply, that means they cannot be trans. Ignore all the stuff they've done, they're not trans because they sang deeply on the internet. It's like, you know the types, you know the people on Twitter that do that. What other songs could we do? It's with the delay, it looks even stupider. Wait, what? How long is what? I'm sorry, I don't understand your question. Oh. I need to do a crossband report. 1 second. Uh... There we go. Right, I'm back. Right, I'm back. I'm back. Sorry about that one. Any requests? Any requests for stream? Oh yeah. We could play Gartic Phone, it's just the screen share doesn't seem to work today. Not that I don't want to do it. I would do a lot more things if I could, but we are limited. We're very limited in what we can do. Sorry, that caught me off a bit off guard. Right. La la la. Wait, the winner takes it all karaoke. Um. Clean audio. What? I know I'm gay. I'm very obviously gay. I don't wanna talk about things we've gone through, though it's hurting me. Now it's history. I played all my cards, and that's what you've gone to. Nothing more to say. No more ace to play. The winner takes it all. The loser standing small beside the victory. That's her destiny. I was in your arms, thinking I belonged there. I figured it made sense, building me a fence, building me up. Can you tell I don't know how to do it? Thinking I'd be strong there, but I was a fool, playing by the rules. The gods may throw a dice, their minds as cold as ice, and someone way down here loses someone dear. The winner takes it all, the loser stands to fall. It's simple and it's plain, why should I complain? But tell me, I don't want to sing that. I don't want to really sing this bit. I don't know, it just seems a bit weird. Again, seems a bit weird. But you know, I have to get through this bit. But what can I say? Rules must be obeyed. The judges will decide, the likes of me abide. Spectators up, I can't sing this bit anymore. Back to singing. Oh my god, it's so warm in my room. It's so warm in my room. Wait, where did there's my Twitch. There's my Twitchy Twitch. Ew, ew, ew. Oh, I got the ick from myself. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's like I was calling a dog, but it's Twitch. That was to no one in particular, to be clear. It was to Twitch in general. But it's still... Oh god. Oh, I got the ick. Poor Twitch, exactly. Oh, it's so warm. I'm gonna need to stop. I think I'm gonna need to stop singing because I am genuinely like. They should pay you more. Exactly. They're very rich. Oh, it's so hot. Wait, I need to turn on the fan. Give it a sec. You'll see like my hair like blow in the wind, like it'll look like I'm in a wind tunnel. Ah, that's so much better. Ew. It's so nice. It's so nice. Can you hear me all right, or just the fan? Can you hear the fan noise? I don't think you can hear the fan noise. Pause. Pause. Can you hear the fan noise? Sorry. That was bad. That was gay. It makes me sound really high. Hi, Chloe! Hi, Chloe! Would you like VIP, Chloe? There we go. You're my third VIP. I think my VIP so far are Austin, Bluey, and you. I don't think I have that many. Oh no, I have quite a few. My friend. It's mostly my friends, to be honest. Oh, it's so much better with the fan on. I'm not gonna lie, I was dying in there. 3 more followers. It's my followers are Bluey, Ferwin, Chloe, What Snacks, yeah, absolutely, and then my friend, who isn't in this chat at the minute. I say that like it's really cryptic. It's just, I don't know. You'll know who they are. They're Alistair Draws. They're a good friend of mine, so I VIP them. Because why not? I love VIPing people. It's so fun. It makes me feel so happy VIPing people, I can't lie. Wait, I can play the stream music again now. Now that karaoke's over. Oh no, that's Max's ending scene song. There we go. I got like Pavlov response. Like if I take this off, will it like look really awful? You can see my hair blowing in the wind a bit, but it's fine. It's like the Pavlovian response. It's like I heard that scene song and I was like, wait, I'm ending, and I was like, wait, no, I'm not ending, and I realized it's because I'm playing Max's music. No, I'm not ending yet. I need to try and stream a bit longer. That was really weird earlier. I'm persevering though. I don't know. It feels weird ending now though. So let's persevere and try not to dox myself. Because I am at uni and I could dox myself by going like, dox! Wrong thing. Dox. Sorry, I'm so used to having 2 cameras. This camera here, I don't know if you can see, oh, you can't see what I'm tapping. This camera here is my main camera, well no, my secondary camera. And I have this camera here. 100 followers equals I give my address. To be clear, Twitch, that is a joke. I will not give anyone my address. 100 followers, Hiccup flies out of plan to clean her room. No. Wait, what? Hi Kai. It's well, I don't even get the clean my room bit. I guess I can fly out Neha. It's like Neha goes on a room cleaning tour around the UK, cleaning streamers' rooms. Like Neha room clean tour. Oh my god, no. Chloe, you're also assuming I have the money to fly Neha anyway. I cannot afford a flight from wherever Neha is. I don't know. All I know is Neha is in Neha land. I don't know. I don't know if I can fly out someone from there. That makes it sound like I'm not specifically not. I'm just trying to remember what. I don't know. Exactly, that's what I'm not. I know, it's like, I was trying not to dox Neha, then I realised I don't know Neha's dox, so I can't dox her anyway. So I don't need to be careful not to dox her because I don't know her dox. And then it sounds really suspicious that I'm now going through this in my head. To be clear, I just overthink everything. And I'm like, when did I accidentally leak something that I don't know? I look really stupid with this fan. It's like wait, it's like a Keshan music video. Chloe I know, Chloe only just followed, that's so evil. Painting the ceiling red at TwitchCon. Kid, that's a joke. Wait, no, I need to edit that one out the mod. Oh no, I'm gonna get banned from TwitchCon. Oh, there's a magnet on this wall. I need to get it without like. I'm getting the magnets down. I know. Chloe, be honest. Is it because I'm disabled? I'm joking. I'm kidding, don't worry. That's a joke. Chloe is not ableist. Chloe is not ableist, chat. Ooh, that made a really satisfying noise, these magnets. Nah, it's okay. I know you didn't mean to. I know you weren't purposefully not following. That's what I was trying to say. To be clear, I was joking. I was only joshing around. I haven't streamed in so long. It's been like 4 months. It's been 4 months, guys. Can you tell? I'm not as confident as I used to be at streaming. I'm trying to like rub in the makeup. There's like makeup here, but it looks really, I don't know. My hair is also really blowing around and it's annoying me. That's like one of the bad things about having long hair, is you have it blow around. And then it's like, stop getting in my eyes. Like, wait, I'm so mysterious, guys. Guys, wait, I'm so mysterious. I'm so mysterious. I'm so mysterious. Guys, you won't understand. You won't understand, man. You won't understand. L'Oreal, because I'm worth it. No, I'm kidding. There's also that advert going around when I was little, where they went like that in the water, and they went like that. And it looks really good. Like, if you do this and you haven't got like amazingly like movied hair, it just looks really stupid. Yeah, I'm different, you wouldn't understand. You wouldn't understand me, Mum. Mom, you wouldn't understand me. You wouldn't understand me, I'm too silly. I'm too silly. I'm too silly and mysterious. I was going to do an American accent for it, but that makes it sound like I'm making fun of it. I'm not making fun of the Americans. Insert current affairs joke. Insert current affairs joke. Nah, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Wait, is it this? Which one is it? This song? Oh, this one. In cabaret, cabaret, to cabaret. Wait, Chloe, did I tell you this idea? I don't remember I did. Did I tell you my idea for a project I'm working on? I don't think I did. I probably haven't told you yet, because I only remember telling a couple people. So, what I'm going to do is, because I keep forgetting to voice train, is I'm going to tell you the same... I'm going to sing the same song every month for... No, every month, for as long as it takes, so I voice train, and then you can see like a voice progression timeline. Like, over the course of a year, you can see my voice shift, you know? Like, as I try and voice train. But if I sing the same song, because it's like long vocal ranges, emotional. I know, I'm so excited to tell everyone! Eek! Eek! I would post it on Twitter, but I might get called slurs. I don't know if it's worth it. Is it worth the couple extra views I get if I post it on Twitter? Is it worth it, guys? It's like that photo of that... The photo... Exactly. We will be cross-banning you, you're mean to me. I wonder, does this work? It works! It works! It works! It works! It works! Guys, it works. I think... No, never mind, the camera's not there. That's the problem, wasn't it? Oops. One tune each day. Wait, I don't know what that is. It's Gourmet Race from Curvy Superstar. Tomorrow, guys, I will not announce stream an hour ahead of when I go live, and I will fix all these problems, including setting up my phone as a camera, so I have, like, insane quality. No HD pictures, though. Obviously, you can't take screenshots, because that would be in HD, and I can't have HD pictures of me. Just joking, just joking. We josh around here. I made that reference before and no one got it. I'm so glad you got it. No one got my reference last time. I know, it's like a deep cut reference. And it only shows how mentally ill I am that I remember it, rather than how like, chronically online I am, if you will. Wait, I should play back. I know, I'm sorry. Wait, I want to hear back how it sounded, the cabaret that I played. Give me a sec. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Slash hiccup a lot. It's okay. Yay. Oh, I'm just watching myself. I don't like that. Oh wait, it's because I don't publish stream clips instantly, do I? Wait, if we do this, and this, no, I can do this, guys. I can't watch it back because it's not, it's unpublished. Oh god, I can't watch it back because it's not published. I could just do it again. Shall I just perform it again? Why not? Wait, let me... I look like I'm like really inept at streaming because I can't... If I get it all set up... Right. Guys, are you ready? Are you ready, chat? Are we all ready? Oh wait, okay. This is the song I shall sing every month till my voice sounds not this bad. It will be cinema. And here is a sneak preview. It's from Cabaret, Daniel doesn't know. What good is sitting alone in your room? Come hear the music play. Life is a cabaret, oh jump. Come to the cabaret. Put down the knitting, the book and the broom. Time for a holiday. Life is a cabaret, oh chum. Come to the cabaret. Come taste the wine. Come hear the band. Come blow your horn, start celebrating. Right this way, your table's waiting. No use permitting some prophet of doom to wipe every smile away. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. I used to have a girlfriend known as Elsie, with whom I shared 4 sordid rooms in Chelsea. She wasn't what you call a blushing flower. As a matter of fact, she rented by the hour. More to you. The day she died, the neighbours came to snicker. Well, that's what comes from too much pills and liquor. But when I saw her laid out like a queen, she was the happiest corpse I'd ever seen. I think of Elsie to this very day. I I remember how she turned to me and say, what good is sitting alone in your room? Come here, the music play. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. Put down the knitting, the book and the broom. Time for a holiday. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. And as for me, I made my mind up back in Chelsea. When I'm going like Elsie. Start by admitting from cradle to tomb. Isn't that long a stay? Life is a cabaret, old chum. Only a cabaret, old chum. And I love a cabaret. There we go. That is a song I shall sing every day for a month. Well, obviously I'm going to practice, but I'm going to sing it every day and publish it for a month. And I'm excited. I'm so excited to do this project because I'm actually going to end up voice training. I say that I'm not going to forget it. Like, I probably will forget, but it can't hurt. Okay, yeah, this is my jam. This is my jam. I tell you that as I'm taking off my headphones. I'm taking off my headphones because I think they make me look like clapped. But you know, it's just also easier because now I'm not like listening to music as I'm talking. Because I'm gonna forget what I'm saying otherwise. Yeah, I'm just a forgetful little guy. Wait, did I? Oh wait, Chloe wasn't here for that joke. I made a joke about how I was singing My Way, like by Frank Sinatra, and I would post it on Twitter, but then people are gonna start fake claiming me and saying I'm not trans because I sang deeply one time. The worst bit is, it's not even a joke. Someone will do that. I love these magnets, I can't lie. Can I ask them do you think if I ask my uni really nicely, they'll let me take them? Like, look at these. Wait, does it focus? Look at these, like, look how nice they are. I know. Wow, these aren't in frame. Wait, if I put them down here, then they'll be in frame. Oh. Difficulties trying to frame these. There we go. It's a magnet wall, guys. Oh no, I can't pull my hand off. Oh no, I'm magnetized to it. I'm magnetized to it. I can't. I'm stuck. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, sorry. I was doing a max GGs. I was lying. Sorry. Sorry. I was doing a max GGs. Good thing Nayhara's in here. You got me. You got me. Oh my god, 3 followers till I hit 100. I'm not streaming till I hit 100 because I probably won't hit 100 today. I love lying, guys. No, I know. I don't have magnetic hands. I don't have. It's like. Doing. These are. Hi, Richie Meows. See, they're magnetic, you know. Oh, having this fan running is so much better. I'm not like overheating constantly. Ooh, different song. Hello and welcome to Hiccup Radio with me, Hiccup a lot. And on today's episode of Hiccup Radio, Outset Island from The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. Yeah, guys, I know how to speak like those people on the radio. And here we see the noble Twitch chatter chatting away in their natural habitat, the Maxi G's offline chat. This is a most wonderful sight. I never thought we would get to see it. Ow. David Attenborough voice hurts. You could be a voice actor. Thank you. I'm not a voice actor. I don't know why. I never got round to it. They just sound like it's just like something that slipped my mind. It's like I never thought about really like doing it. It's just like I don't know. It's just something I like doing. I like mimicking things like. No, I was gonna pretend to be like the emergency alert. No. I'm the emergency alert, guys. Hiccup's live. I don't know. That was not a human sound. Oh my god, Cooking Mama 4 Kitchen Music Magic OST menu. That's a mouthful and a half. Cooking Mama. And up next, we have Cooking Mama Kitchen Magic OST menu. It was a bear. I look so bad as I look so stupid as I do that. What do I? Hi, Faceless Cheesecake. Your parrot flew away, I'm sorry. Wait, did you know a parrot? You didn't know a parrot? Hi, Faceless Cheesecake. That is a good name. That's an amazing name, actually. That is a cinema name, if I'm honest. I don't know if you know BTTV, but the cinema emote is of Martin Scorsese going like, cinema. It's like, call me. He's like, you call me. Martin Scorsese. If you squeezed it in a bit, it'd be Martin Scorsese Court. Cinecourt. Sounds like a Pokemon. I don't know. I just spend the past like 2 minutes making bird noise, if I'm honest. It's just so fun. It's like, I'm a pigeon. I'm a pigeon. Have you seen the sea prices lately? I went down to perch on something and they put pigeon wire down. I'm right flapped off about that one. I'm like proper flapped off. I don't know why I'm role playing as a pigeon. Have you seen this? There's a real good bakery down there. They always leave little crumbs out for me. Alright, Gerald. Alright, Gerald. How are you? How's the kids? They're alright, Jeff. How are your kids? They're alright, thanks. Fancy perching on some power lines? I thought you never asked, Jeff. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. How does anyone watch me? I wouldn't want to watch this. It's like an ADHD thought process. My stream. How's your eggs? Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Thank you, Bluey. Thank you. All right, Gerald. How's your eggs? Oh, they're hatching nervously. Thanks, Barbara. Oh, aye, that's good to hear. Oh, aye, that's good to hear. Don't know what that voice I was meant to be. It's like, you go into town and you see the mob bird. It's like, I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. Sorry, I got a bit of cigarette stuck in my beak. I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. I'm gonna peck away. He's gonna give me 50% of the seeds and he's gonna thank me for it. Low-key, I wonder what pigeon drama would be like. It's like he got cancelled for stealing the seed. He stole the seed from the factory. True. I pooped on a record for 15 people! Penguin soap opera. I went and got myself a tuna the other day. I'm gonna peck away. I'm gonna peck away, peck away. Here a peck, everywhere a peck. Oh my, the pigeon had a thumb. Peck. And peck. I'm gonna peck away. It just sounds like the I'm one step ahead audio or whatever it is. I'm one step ahead. But he wasn't British, he was American, I think. Was he American? I think so. One step ahead. I am one step ahead. That audio is proper. That audio is always so like super villainous. It's like, wait, I can do the Angry Birds noise. Wait. If I don't take a bit of water, I can do the Angry Bird noise. I accidentally just hit my laptop with magnets. Am I alive still? Can you still hear me? Can you all still hear me? Yay! Right, now it's Angry Birds time. That was bad. I am that angry bird. A supervillain pigeon, a supervillain pigeon character would be cool. I worked. I worked. I don't know what voice would you have? It'd be like they asked me, do you pet for fun or do you pet for business? I told them I only pet for fun because I like pecking. I like the way they scream when I peck them on the heads. They ask me, do I drop poo for fun? I tell them, mostly no, but sometimes I really go for it. I hit them right on the heads and they squeal, they squirm. And I get to sit up there on the parapet and go, I didn't know that was anything. I don't know, I can't make up a story in my head that quickly. Maybe EP. Oh, I've been live nearly an hour and a half. That's not bad. I know. It's been an hour and a half already. I'm so happy. I miss being live. I miss chat. I miss chatting to everyone. It's always so fun chatting. I don't know. I love yapping. I love having a good yap sesh. Oh my god, wait, I can post this VOD. I haven't doxed myself yet. I haven't doxed myself or said something stupid where it still could technically count as a dox, but not a dox. I say I've never doxed myself. I have accidentally doxed myself before, but that is gone from the internet. No one will ever know. Oh, I got a notification. Loud environment. Alright, just tell me I've been laughing too much. Tell me I've been too funny. Just tell me I've been too funny, Apple. I get it. I'm EP. I'm EP as EPA. EPAs can be EP. I'm always EP though, low-key. When am I not EP? I'm never not EP. Ooh. I think I'm going to end at 6. I've decided it. I'm gonna end at 6 and I'm gonna raid into Max's offline. But I will be live more often now. I will try and go live. That's not a command. I haven't set that one up yet. Sorry, Clay. I'm just a bit. I'm a failed streamer. What was I gonna say? I'm gonna try and go live every day if I can. But obviously that probably won't happen because I will be tired. But I'm gonna try and go live multiple times a week. And if I get that camera set up, I will be HD as hell. I will be like I'll be half 4K. I'll be double HD. Be so cool. Holy bingo. Holy bingo Hiccup will be high quality. What the Sigma? What the Sigma? We didn't hit 100 followers, but that's okay. I will hit 100 billion followers next stream. I will hit 1 billion, million, trillion followers next stream. Exactly. You get it. You get it. We're getting close to each stream. When I hit 100, we gotta celebrate. I'll crack open the champagne. Just kidding. We will crack open a monster. A Red Bull movie. Because I don't want to drink on live, really. Well, at least not at the minute. I don't want to drink on live whilst I'm still getting used to it anyway. Then I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I miss streaming so much. I miss streaming so much, chat. Alright, we're gonna raid Max GG's now. Raid Max GG's. Did that work? It did. Thank you guys. I hope you all had a lovely stream. I know I did. I had a wonderful stream. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Wait, I will see you tomorrow. Maybe if I'm not too tired, I'll see you tomorrow. Otherwise, I will see you later this week. Eureka. Okay. Bye, chat.